My business funding client got denied and had a 770 credit score. Watch the entire video. I think this will be very beneficial for y'all, just so y'all can respect and understand the business funding game. All right, so the business established was in 2021. I'm going to keep it kind of general because I don't want to put out too much information about their business. But why did the client get denied? So underwriting basically stated that they couldn't verify the business, even though it is an active business. So I just wanted to do this type of video because I know we always talk about with funding, with credit repair and all that, all the wins and things like that. But just to bring that transparent aspect to it, especially if you're doing your funding for yourself, if you got a credit repair or funding business and you're taking clients through the process, I know, especially if you don't have a mentor or somebody around you, if you don't have a community of people with the situation, it might make you think like, oh, damn, why are people getting denied? Is everybody just getting approvals and all that, right? And the biggest thing I tell people is a numbers game. So taking as many clients as possible. But anyway, so let's get straight to it. So you want to obviously make sure that you structure your business to where it's findable online. You have a website, social media if you can. So this was one of the main issues that they had, even though the client had a good credit score. And those of y'all that understand and follow me, you understand that the credit score doesn't necessarily matter. It's about the profile. Profile was structured good too. This is the reason why I wanted to do this type of video because this is a perfect candidate for somebody to show that we've got to respect the business funding game. And what I mean by that is I like to compare the funding game to something like boxing. If you watch boxing, you know that it's a bunch of casual fans, it's a bunch of people that actually know how things are going. So, for example, I'm gonna get straight to it. I'm gonna make my point. So somebody like a Shakur Stevenson, people will be, oh, he's boring and all that, right? But people don't understand the technicality that goes into, the way that he fights. So we have to respect people's industries, especially if you're a business owner watching this. You probably do your shit the way you do your shit, right? I wouldn't come into your field and be like, okay, I'm just gonna go do it myself. And that's what people are doing when they're trying to get their funding themselves. So I wanted to show this piece of data so that y'all can have insight and understand that it's not just sweet as far as, okay, I got my credit score, I can go do what I need to do. You got to have the relationships, obviously, right? You have to have the business structure. You have to know certain things that these bank relationship managers are telling me behind the scenes. I'm talking with these people literally like every day, with the exception of the weekends. So when I say I do this shit, I literally do this shit. So keep that in mind, right? Like y'all gotta respect people that work in that industry, people that do the funding, people that do the credit, right? So there were some other specific reasons that we outline in our SOPs, and we have SOPs in terms of how we go about, this funding, customized solution for our clientele. So if you're just somebody, you're just like, okay, cool, I got a good credit score, I'm gonna go run my funding sequence. It's not sweet like that. I know a lot of y'all too. You're watching from the outside, people like myself, people that are successful in it. You don't understand that there's more that goes into it. This is why we're able to get these people these results. So, yeah, keep that in mind. But one thing I wanted to highlight as well, I can't put everything on YouTube, but one of the reasons why the client got denied, we told them to do something specific. It's our secret sauce when we're working with our BRMs, and I can't say it publicly. And that just happens to be the reason why, people tend to work with us. People get word of mouth that work with us. So keep that in mind. The main message is stay in your lane. If you know you don't do this funding shit, I literally have receipts back in the 2021 when I started of doing this shit. And I get it too, because when I first got in the game, I was like, okay, in 2021, I was okay, credit repair funding. Funding just looks lucrative. It's very like simple. It was simpler back then, but things are getting more aggressive. So you have to understand that. So I had a different client that had a 733 credit score. Remember, 770 got denied. 733 had the proper structure and everything. Everything went according to plan with our SOPs. So this particular client, it just slipped through the cracks of when my team was, working with the client, and then also just what they stated as far as they can verify the business. So just keep that in mind. I just want to show y'all that sometimes it's not just like, oh, I got a good credit score. It's a lot of stuff that goes into this. These banks are very stingy. They're going to be very stingy in terms of the regulation, in terms of approvals, right? So my client, Betsabet, got a $35,000 approval and had a 733 credit score. I say that to say, It's not just a score, obviously, right? There's many things that goes into it, and y'all have to understand. Focus on what you're good at. I wouldn't come into your barbering if you're a barber, right? I wouldn't come into your barbering. I wouldn't come into your lane if you work a 9 to 5. I wouldn't come into your job and be like, okay, I'm just gonna do it, right? I'm gonna go work with the expert, right? I've been doing this since 2021. When you're working with the funding company, make sure that they've been doing it for a while. Make sure that they have receipts, right? Y'all see receipts on my YouTube. Y'all see receipts if you follow me on IG. This funding game, it's not sweet. It's just like boxing. You're gonna have people that's casuals, that's just watching, just for entertainment. You're gonna have people that understand the game. People like myself, people that's been doing it, like me as well. So you gotta understand that it's deeper than what is on the surface. And this is why I wanted to make this video. Not every client is gonna get approved. Not every client is gonna follow the instructions. But the main thing that we could do is stacking the odds in our favor. And this is why people rely on us and work with us to get this stuff done. And I'm always communicating with these bank relationship managers. But yeah, the biggest lesson for you, it's not just about the score, and also just understand, like focus on what you're good at. If you're a business owner watching, this is mainly the issue with poor people. If you're a small business owner, you're watching this, you already know what it is. Just book the call in the description. Once you know your credit is good, at least the score is gonna be good. We'll take an assessment. We'll figure out, if you're gonna qualify. But the issue with poor people, and this is why I'm glad that we don't do business with poor people. Poor people will watch, these videos and all that. Even on top of everything I said, they're gonna be all right. I know it, right? They don't understand that certain things are just having more experience. If someone's been doing something for years, someone has the data that you don't have, they're more than likely going to be more successful than you at doing it. And you just have to stomach that, right? Rich, successful people that value their time, they understand, okay, this is my lane. Let me focus on my lane. Let me go work with someone for the funding because I see that he's doing it right. He's been doing it for a while. And that's the way I think too. When I'm looking at somebody else in their lane, I'm not going to be like, okay, shoot, I'm seeing this stuff online. I'm just going to do YouTube University. There's only so much shit you can learn from YouTube University. There's so much shit, so much conversations we have behind the scenes when we actually have a client versus what is being reported on YouTube. Like y'all gotta understand that, right? And I'm saying this for the person that maybe they need to sway their mindset a bit. Some of y'all poor people, you lost. It ain't no helping you, right? But those of y'all that maybe you just don't know, my words are gonna, penetrate your subconscious and help you understand that, right? Like focus on what you're good at. Work with the experts because it would be disheartening. I hate it when I hear about people that they got a baby ass limit, maybe $5,000 limit, when you could have just came to the source and got a better approval, So just keep that in mind. So let me let y'all know y'all options at this point, right? If you a rich, successful person, business owner, whatever, you're looking for extra capital to grow, scale, start the business, maybe you work a high paying 9 to 5. These are usually characteristics of people that actually understand everything I'm talking about. If you're a poor person, you're just like, okay, I just want to be stingy with every single penny. I don't want to invest in I don't want to invest in a solution that will help me get paid higher. You can click off the video, go watch different videos of mine, right? And let me be transparent, right? Before we get into your options, let me be transparent. One thing y'all got to realize, if you don't know already, if you watch my videos, you may know that I do have mentorship programs and all that. To be transparent, we make significantly way more money doing the service than mentorship programs. I can't do nothing with your little $2,000 for a business funding program when we getting clients funded consistently, right? I say that to say we really do this shit. So that's kind of part of why I do get, people wanting to start like their funding and programs and stuff like that, their own business because, it's a sexy business model. And it's easier to sell because it's like you can't say you don't got the money, right? Because once we get you funded, you have the money right there. It's easier to focus on something like this versus convincing a poor, struggling credit repair business owner on why they should invest in themselves to be less poor, right? Like, what I'm saying? So I say that to say, just keep in mind that I really do this shit, you know? So you want to work with someone like me when you're doing your funding. You want to work with someone like me when you're doing your funding. And most business owners won't come out here to tell you about, the denials that they got and things like that. But It's gonna happen. Anyone that's coming on here saying, oh, everyone's getting approved and all that, they haven't funded a lot of people. Maybe they funded one or two people. They're not funding in masses, right? When you're funding in masses, you're gonna get denials. It is what it is, but you got more data to study. I literally have bank relationship managers in my phone. I talk to them all the time. Email, text, call. I literally have these people on my phone, right? People that are my students understand this. They understand this, the BRMs, because I'm the one that's conversing with them, you know? So I say that to say, if you don't take nothing from this video, just take staying in your lane. Work with someone like myself that does this shit, basically, right? So we were able to, obviously pinpoint why the person got denied, and it didn't go according to what we've outlined in our SOPs. So these are your options, right? You could obviously still try to do your funding on your own. The issue with that is you're likely just getting funding for yourself. You don't have the data, the plethora of data that me and my team has from getting people funded since 2021, right? You most likely don't have the extensive BRM connections we have, right? And one thing I'll say, back in 2021 versus now, we didn't have BRMs back then. We were just doing, the mass applications and stuff like that. So the game is always changing. And when I'm talking to these BRMs, the rules are always changing. So y'all got to realize that, right? So just bro, keep that in mind. So let me ask you though, does it make sense to try to do something that's not your expertise, that's not your lane, or should you stay in your lane? Or does it make sense to do something that's not your lane and risk getting a low limit approval if you get approved? Or should you probably work with experts to maximize your results? Right? Let me just ask you that. You can answer the simple question. You know what the answer is. So it's only so much I can show you on YouTube. Like I said, people that do become clients, we have so many conversations that aren't recorded. It's like it's only so much that can go on here when I'm recording, you know? It's so much that goes on behind the scenes. And we learn new stuff every day, right? This is why it's important to just this is really not even investing in yourself like that, because it's a sexy business model because you as a client is only paying on what we're able to successfully get you, right? So if you try to get it on your own, I'm not saying you can't do it on your own, but you might not maximize that, is what I'm saying. So if you're a business owner, obviously in your business, you want high quality clients. So you have to be a high quality person as well in order to attract that. There's something called the mirror principle. Basically, the way that you act is what you're going to attract. The way that you act is what you're going to attract. So if you're doing all this, oh, I need to think about it. If you're doing all this trying to get shortcuts, if you're doing all this, oh, let me try to do it on my own, you're going to attract those type of poor, cheap clients. You know what I'm saying? So if you're somebody, you're just like working quick, like my clients that I get funded that give no problems, they're just, okay, I know you're the person. I've watched your YouTube videos. I watched this. I've seen the results. It's not a surprise why they're successful in their businesses are making all this money, right? So just keep that in mind as well. If you need to think about it, you got to ask yourself how long you've been thinking about it and pushing your credit or your funding to the side. Let's say it's just been 3 months, right? Do you think if you took action 3 months ago, like, don't you think that you would have been further than where you're at right now? Right? So you got to realize that it's enough. I got to think about it. Like that's a BS reason to not move forward with what you need to do. And it's 2025. Y'all see the whole CFPB, this and all that, right? So you want to make sure your credit is in order ASAP. What's a guarantee, right? Y'all favorite one, the poor people's favorite one, right? I'm not gonna say you because if you're watching the video at this point, I'm assuming you're somebody like me. You understand to stay in your lane. You could book a call in the description. We'll help you maximize your funding. So what's the guarantee? I guarantee you, if you don't do nothing, you'll still be stuck in the same situation, right? And the whole guarantee thing is like quitting before you even start. Like, why would you quit before you start? Only losers think like that, right? And people that follow me, I'm hoping y'all not losers, right? So just keep that in mind as well. So also as well, you got to realize that you don't have access to someone like me that's been doing it for years. That'll give you extra strategy that might be that difference maker. It's like a boxing match, like I said, right? Someone that has experience versus someone that doesn't have a lot of experience. So with that being said, if you watch this video and you understand the urgency, with all this credit stuff changing, the urgency in terms of getting your funding, you could book a free call in the description. We'll chop it up with you, come up with a customized plan, and help you get your funding, maximize your funding. So with that being said, y'all have a blessed one.